Coming up, we have stories about disrespect, a wedding edition. Not being included by your step-siblings, princess treatment demanded, restaurant edition, breaking in and claiming tenant rights, helping your child against the other parent's wishes, respecting your partner's wishes, another restaurant edition, that's restaurant-themed tonight, and cheating ex gets poop pics. Well, that was just written specifically for us, I feel like. Am I the astronaut for leaving my best friend's wedding halfway through? I, 25 female, have been best friends with Kara, 26 female, since we were like 13. We've been through everything. High school drama, bad breakups, moving to different cities, all of it. When she got engaged last year, I was genuinely thrilled for her. She asked me to be her maid of honor, and I said yes without even thinking. Now, here's where it gets messy. Kara met her now husband, Evan, about 3 years ago. I've never been his biggest fan, not because he's done anything terrible to me personally, but because he has this way of subtly belittling Kara in front of people. I'm gonna go ahead and red flag right now then. Like she'll tell a story and he'll cut in with, "That's not how it happened," or "You're being dramatic." FTG, is it too early? I've brought it up to her before gently and she just says, "That's how we joke." Fine, whatever. Leading up to the wedding, I was heavily involved. Planning the bachelorette, running errands, making sure she ate on the day of because she was stressed as hell. The actual wedding day started fine, but little things piled up. First, Kara's mom pulled me aside in the morning and basically told me not to outshine the bride in any way. Okay. I was wearing the dress Kara picked, so that threw me off. Then at the reception, she's like, "You look too good." Then at the reception, Evan gives his speech and thanks his brother, who he said was basically the best man and maid of honor combined. Didn't mention me at all. I laughed it off because maybe it was just nerves, but I saw a couple of people at my table give each other a look. Later during the bouquet toss, Kara jokingly aimed it directly at her cousin instead of tossing it normally, then turned to me and said loud enough for people to hear, "Well, you'll be single forever anyway." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, but it kinda hurt. The final straw was during the dancing. I was at the bar chatting with a mutual friend when Evan's brother came up and said, "Hey, Kara told me to tell you to not hog the attention on the dance floor. You're making her uncomfortable." I hadn't been dancing weird or anything, just normal wedding fun, but apparently my existing in her orbit was now a problem. I went to find Kara to ask her what the deal was, but she brushed me off with, "Can we not do this right now? It's my day." At that point, I felt like I was just not wanted there. I had spent months helping plan this wedding, paid for travel, address, gifts, and here I was being treated like I was crashing the party. So I told her I wasn't feeling well and left before dessert. When I get home, my phone blew up with text from Kara. At first it was, "Where did you go?" Then, "I can't believe you ditched my wedding." And finally, "Everyone's asking where my maid of honor went. Do you know how bad this makes me look?" I explained that I felt unwelcome, and she said I was being selfish and making it about me on her wedding day. I didn't respond after that. Now a couple of mutual friends are saying I overreacted and that weddings are stressful and people say things they don't mean. So Reddit, am I the astronaut?
Bride is ASCON 1. Her now husband is ASCON 1. So I hope they're happy now because they're wicked.
Do you think this was intentional? Do you think this is?
I think
do you think this was intentional, like premeditated?
I think that the bride was belittled by her soon-to-be husband, and that is now her norm. And now that eye, instead of on his future bride, he's got her where he needs her. And so now that shifts to maid of honor because he obviously needs to isolate her from her friends. So one by one, they will be chipped away. One by one, any confidence that she has, the bride, will be gone. But yeah, that's my opinion. But this is unacceptable behavior. This is the kind of behavior that I do not tolerate. Like, I won't allow our daughters to tolerate this because mean girl behavior will not exist in my orbit. Like, it will not exist in my life because I just won't put up with it. Yeah. And this is the kind of behavior that I will call out and walk the away. You do not get a second chance. And I'm a second chance person. But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I will not allow myself to ever be put in a situation like this again. Because we've all been there. We've all been treated like this. And what it does to your self-worth and how it makes you feel as a person is it takes a long time to rebuild from that. And she should have walked away when the mom said something to her to not steal the spotlight. That was enough for me to walk the away from this wedding.
It was day of, though. And I think at that point, like day of, you're like, well, I'm in it now.
Right.
But like, how many dings did she receive day of?
It's
30?
Unacceptable.
It was wild, which makes it feel premeditated to me. Yeah. And there's part of it that's like, okay, if former bestie bride here says that's just how they joke when confronted about how her husband belittles her. So what, she's adopted this treatment of people because now she's treating her friend like this. But to wait.
Yeah.
But to wait until they didn't depend on her anymore. Like she's already planned everything. She's already paid for stuff. She's already committed. Mm-hmm. And she probably, former bestie bride, probably thought there's no way she would leave the wedding. But the fact that she did, her main question here.
And then the gaslighting began, right? Like,
do you know how bad this makes me look?
Exactly. The gaslighting was thick. And I'm sure he did it to her too. And now that behavior is just acceptable. Normal. It's acceptable in their lives. And I'm like, I don't want it. If your best friend has never done this to you before, one, there's insecurity there on the bride. It sounds to me like this woman may be like very good looking. And it's like, don't outshine me on my day.
Yeah, just by existing, you're outshining people.
I don't like the way that your face like looks. Can you change that? And if any woman has ever been made to feel like that, the people who made you feel like that can fall the way off, because it's a shit feeling when your friends are the ones doing it to you. It's a shit feeling when your friends are being shitty, and it's just, in my opinion, it's unacceptable behavior.
Yeah.
Like you don't get a second chance. You don't get a second chance to ever make someone who you said was your friend feel like that again. And I hope that OP sees this for what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she got fed up enough to leave.
I hope that she
and it wasn't the wedding,
does
it was
not
the reception.
apologize.
I would agree that she has nothing to apologize for. It's like how hard would you make former bestie work to like become friends again? And I
wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I think no contact is probably the smartest play now, because this is. And
the couple of mutual friends that say you're overreacting probably don't know the full story. Yeah. And if it had been them in your place, they would be singing a different tune.
Absolutely. Am I the astronaut for denying my dad's wife and her kids as my family and reminding my dad he made the choice to stay when I had no say? I, 20 male, was 5 when my dad married Ellen. Ellen was a widow and she had 5 kids. Her oldest 4 were all older, as in late teens to 20s. Her youngest was 7. My mom bailed on me when I was 3, so I didn't have an active mom and I was an only child. Ellen did not fill any motherly role for me, and her kids were clear that I was less than a stranger. Oh, that noise. Ellen's youngest never wanted to hang out or play with me. For a little while when we first started living together, I thought we would. But he always moved away or told me to go away when I tried to play or spend time with him. He ignored me the rest of the time and would sometimes refuse to say anything when I talked to him. Cool. Ellen's older kids would all come and visit their brother and ignore me. They'd bring him toys, candy, take him to see movies, or bring him for treats like McDonald's. Not only was I not welcome, but a few times they were asked to take me, and I'd hear it from them when they told me I wasn't their brother. And that meant I couldn't come, and I better not get upset about it, so they would be asked again. Good gravy. Christmas and other holidays where they visited their brother, it was always like that. I was left out, and they were angry that I was even there to begin with. My dad would even try to cheer me up or spend a little extra on me, but it didn't help because I was living in a house where the kid around my age who was supposed to be family wanted nothing to do with me, and his siblings who were supposedly my family too wanted nothing to do with me and would be mean about excluding me. They liked rubbing it in. I was miserable, and I didn't have any extended family to fall back on, so I just had to suck it up. I started avoiding celebrations when I could, and I focused on me. When I did that, I heard Ellen's kids say stuff was better without me ruining everything, and if only my dad was gone, it would be perfect. Good gravy. These seem like really upstanding citizens. I decided to focus on getting out of Dad's house ASAP, and I couch surfed for a few months until after I turned 18, before settling into a place with some friends. I still talk to Dad, but not a lot. He mentioned recently that I should come for a family dinner with him, Ellen, and her kids, and some of her extended family. I told him they're not my family, and I would not be welcome, so I won't be going. Dad told me we might not get along all the time, but we are family. I told him they are not, and he made the choice to stay knowing they rejected me, and now I wasn't going to pretend that we're something we're not and never were. Good for you, OP. He told me it wasn't fair because he made sure that I didn't miss out on stuff all the time. I told him being rejected by everyone else and ostracized in my own home was not made up for with a few material things. Am I the astronaut? Okay, so OP is 20 right now. This all started when OP was 5, and he for 15 years, or at least until he moved out. So let's say, 13 years, was just treated like actual human garbage.
Why do people that can't love someone else's child marry someone with a child? Like, how selfish do you have to be? And for dad to see it going on, try to make up for it with shit, like that's going to fix your child's mental health, and then be like, well, I tried to buy you things, so that should, it should be fine.
I tried to make sure you didn't miss out.
Yeah.
How?
Like, this shit either stops or we're getting a divorce. You should have never married this person to begin with.
Agreed.
Dad should have never married Ellen to allow their child to be subjected to allow his child to be subjected to this bullshit.
Yeah, that's a father fail. That's it. You failed as a father.
And I know that we have people who watch videos who have said that this is how they were treated by their step family, and I don't have any words for that, because I can't imagine a life where we would ever allow. I mean, if that had been our children's like reaction to each other, we would not be together.
Right.
But I can't imagine a household where this type of behavior is ever just for the mom, where Ellen looks at that. And I know the dad is to blame, but where this woman looks at this child and is like, yeah, I'm fine treating him like garbage. I'm fine throwing him away. I'm fine without him ever feeling love, even though his mom is no longer here. Like I can't imagine a world where that is just okay. Because it's disgusting. It's
a package deal. And for dad to knowingly put his child in this situation and to allow it. Yeah.
Right.
They did, they did what they had to do to hide it as best they could, to hide how badly they were treating him and not do it right in front of dad. Right. But he knew it was going on. And
absolutely.
The only time that Ellen here shows up is in the very beginning. It's like, she did not fill any kind of motherly role. And then she just allowed her children to treat him like absolute garbage, and dad is just nowhere to be found. So this was OP's only path to survival, was endure this. And now OP is 20 and dad's like, I don't know why my son won't talk to me anymore. Why the f*** do you think?
Right.
Because actions have consequences, because you failed as a father. And now OP finally has the freedom to try to create the life that he wants. And you're like, oh yeah, but we're family. No, you.
And not to mention the fact that his mom, wanted nothing to do with him. And then his dad marries someone with another woman who wants nothing to do with him. And he has this whole other family that's supposed to be his family, and they want nothing to do with him. And he survived.
Survived.
Yeah, he survived. I mean, he didn't live.
The amount of trust issues now,
yeah.
To have successful relationships is going to require a lot of therapy, right?
This dad just he just turned away from it and was like, I'll just leave him to deal with that.
And he's just going to have to deal with this now. And OP, I'd say stick to your guns. Like this, if all your family, as dad has labeled it, brings you as pain, they don't get to be your family. I'd cut every single one of those motherfuckers off. Just... Am I the astronaut for grounding my daughter for calling out how my girlfriend talks to waiters? I've, 47, recently begun dating a woman, 33, about a month ago. 14-year difference there? Okay. I arranged for her to meet my daughter, 12. We end up going to a restaurant for lunch. My girlfriend does not particularly like interacting with waiters or waitresses, especially those at more casual dining places.
Princess treatment.
She's had bad experiences with them. Who's them? Every restaurant worker at a casual restaurant? Cool. And feels like they often judge her and other customers on their food choices. She's also sensitive to entitled attitudes on their part. Projecting much. So whenever she goes out with friends or me, she prefers that someone else place her order for her and does the rest of her interactions with waitstaff, handing them the paid bill, asking for utensils, refills, etc. So when it comes time to order and the waitress is asking my girlfriend what she wants, my girlfriend looks directly at me and I order for her. My girlfriend wants another fork in the middle of our meal and she asks me to ask the waitress for it. This triggers my daughter because the waitress happened to be within earshot of my daughter, and my daughter starts asking my girlfriend why she refuses to acknowledge waitstaff. I tell my daughter to be polite, but she continues on and says that when the busboy came, she could have at least thanked him for taking her soup dish away. She then says, they're all freaking human beings, and it came out louder than we all expected, and diners nearby stared at us. We end up cutting our meal short because my girlfriend was obviously offended, and I drive home with my daughter. I told her that this was no way to treat a woman who I love and who I want to be a part of our lives. That's the treatment that you called out. Okay. I end up grounding her for embarrassing my girlfriend in front of everybody. Am I the astronaut? My daughter is growing up and needs to learn that not everybody approaches situations how she does. You mean like a DFHB? Okay. And that it's just ignorant to write them off as rude, or even worse, to raise an issue with them about it. Also, I have to add that she claims my girlfriend is so rude and idolizes her late mother, who would regularly tip 30%, yet she is the one who raised her voice in public. Oh, Dad, you fool. You fool. He knows it's wrong. He knows the way the bitchy bitch that his girlfriend is. He knows it's insufferable, but he's got the blinders on because he's dating a 30-something that's 14 years older than him, and he's like, hey,
younger. Yeah.
Yes, younger. He's like, you got to take the good with the bad, and that's the bad.
There was one adult at this table, and she was 12. Also, anyone who has waited tables, I've waited on this person, this woman, and 9 times out of 10, it's a woman that acts like this. I don't get it, but this is a place of deep-rooted insecurity, and this person is a walking red flag. And so is the dad, honestly, for putting basically his dick above what he knows is right and what he knows is wrong, because that's what he's doing. Like, he's placating this woman because
every time
he wants something from him. And then, like, come on. Like,
every time she does something that he knows is insufferable, he's like, hang on, let me check. Yeah, he says it's fine. Every time. Yep, just let it roll. Just let it go. Just let it go. Do you think, okay.
It's someone who waited tables for a really long time. We don't give a flying what you order. Just tell us what you want, and we'll go put it in the computer, and we will do your best to keep your condiments coming, your drinks full. Like, that's all we want to do, is we want to do the best job so that we can get the best tip. I don't give what you order. I don't give if you want dessert, and then you want your meal, and then you want another dessert. I never cared. Like, I would just bust my ass to make sure that you are taken care of. But this kind of table, I would not bust my ass for, because you know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, here's my deal. Like, listen, bitch. As your waiter, I'm like, I don't want to deal with you either.
Right?
I don't care if I only have to deal with him. That's fine. But it means you're broken. I'm like, I don't give a shit because it makes my job easier not having to deal with you. But the funny part is, you want nothing to do with me as your waiter. You want nothing to do with me.
Yep.
All requests are going to be flowed through him. But when it comes time to determine the tip, I'll bet you have some input about it.
Oh, 100%. That's why I said it's not.
Probably 2%.
Yeah. That's why I said it's not.
Do you think that this comes from someone who, like, just never learned how to order for themselves and, like, was super duper duper coddled, and now it's just uncomfortable for them, so they've masked it as some kind of, like, I can't talk to muggles kind of thing? Or do you think that is true princess entitlement?
I think it's princess entitlement, and the princess entitlement comes from a place of insecurity, because if I ask your partner if they want Coke or Pepsi, you think that the person talking to them is hitting on them, which dings you. Like, that's the vibe that, as a woman waiting on another woman who acts like this, that is the vibe that they give. I don't want you talking to my husband. No, I couldn't possibly look at you. Like, that's the vibe.
So you're making me talk to him more as a solution? Because
that is the vibe that you get. Like, you've offended me with your presence because you're a woman standing at my table, and, like, I don't want you here. That's the vibe that it always gave. And I'm like, I don't care. And if someone did this at the table, and I was a petty asshole. I was 18. But if a woman did this at a table, or a man, whoever, I would repeatedly speak to that person. Even though they would have someone else order, I would always speak to them. Yeah. I would look at them directly and speak to them and ask them if their food was okay. I would ask them if they wanted more to drink, if it was close to the end. Like, I would ask them if they needed a to-go box, and I would ask them directly while I was looking at them.
You would definitely have to do that.
Like, I just don't. I don't tolerate it.
When you bring the food and you're like, would you mind going ahead and cutting into that and making sure it's cooked to your liking? You definitely have to do that with her, like inescapable things that what's she going to hand her whole plate over to him, and then he's going to be like,
I will always respect the server that walks up to our table
Yeah.
with like the utmost respect. I mean, anywhere I go, I'm going to respect the person, but like,
Unless
I have a
there's-
soft spot
like,
for servers.
There's respect, but we've also had a lot of experiences where the server very clearly just doesn't give a single
Sure.
and that, like, as a
I know,
server,
yeah.
we're even more critical of
Yeah.
because we're like, dude, like all you have to do is like try a little bit and check the basic boxes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're a long way from going above and beyond, but at least try. Yup,
No,
this kind of person.
This dad making this behavior okay at an age where the daughter is so young. Like, I hope that she always remembers who her mom is and what her mom taught her. And I hope that she doesn't allow the women that her dad brings into her life to affect that, because what he's bringing in now is not someone that she can look up to. It's not someone that is going to teach her who she wants to be as a person.
No,
and
and he's a dad. He's a dad here first, right? So
that's the most sad part, is that he okayed the girlfriend's behavior and belittled his daughter because it upset the girlfriend. And that is exactly why the girlfriend will never change who she is, because you're enabling her.
enabling. A friend of mine broke into my house, put her stuff at random places to make it look like she's been a tenant. Cops arrive, find her stuff all over the place, and so of course they won't remove her. What do I do now? This is a Jordan Peele movie right here, right? I have a friend who called me last night asking for a place to stay. I politely told her no. She's 25, I'm 19, and I should mention she's a narcissistic biatch. Today, I was over at my cousin's place this morning, and when I come home a couple of hours ago, I found this bitch inside my house. No signs of a break-in from the outside. I ask her how she got in, and she tells me through the back window. I tell her I never gave her permission to come here and that she needs to leave immediately, and she says, deal with it.
Okay.
We have officially escalated. I call the cops and tell them that there's a person who got inside my house without my permission and that I need an officer to come and remove her. A couple minutes later, they arrive, and here's what happens. She tells them, I know my rights, officers. I've been a legal tenant in this house for 2 months now, and you can't just remove me. I can go around and show you my clothes in the wardrobe, my toothbrush and my conditioner in the bathroom, and all my other stuff. They take a walk with her, and all of her stuff is all over my house. Does that really prove residency, though? She broke into my house, put her stuff all over so that the cops would think she's been a tenant. The next thing they tell me is that I have to serve her with an eviction notice and that they can't legally remove her since she's considered a tenant. I didn't even know what to tell them, as I felt so dumbfounded and shocked that I was set up like this. I was silent for a few seconds, and so they try to explain how the law works to me, but since I just keep looking at them in silence, not believing myself, they just proceed and leave. They're like, all right, we're gonna go now. You have fun with that. I'm so pissed. I'm in California, so I can't even record her confessing to what she's done. If I can do that under an exception, I could easily do it because apparently she has no problem admitting to it when the cops aren't here. I'm not, however, going to do so if it will lead to more problems. I've also thought about calling 911 or the non-emergency line and telling the operator about the situation so that the call would be recorded and then make my friend confess about it. Can I do that? Me and the operator are aware of the call being recorded. I think it would still be unlawful. How do I get this bitch out without having to serve her eviction notice? Isn't that against the law what she did there? Isn't this fraud? I've thought about trying to prove that she's been living somewhere else before, but I don't know what to do. This is up. I'm really sorry about my language, but I'm feeling really so angry, and I'm trying to be calm as much as I can while she's in my house using my stuff, and I can't do shit about it. Thanks. Relevant comments. Me and the operator are aware of the call being recorded. I think that would still be unlawful, in quotes. Yes, because the person being recorded doesn't consent. How do I get this bitch out without having to serve her eviction notice? If the police won't take action, eviction is all you have. How crazy is
That's wild.
OP says, even if I find a way to prove she wasn't living here, so what now? I can go to any of my friends' house and put my stuff there and basically live for free. If I eventually get proof that she faked this, what can I do at that point? Another comment here, even if I found a way to prove she wasn't living here, it's difficult to prove a negative, especially given that she didn't have another place to stay. Still, if you believe you have that evidence, you could try the police again, but if the police don't do anything, eviction is your only option. I like how this commenter is like, yeah, you're f***ed. Deal with it. Are you the roommate? OP says, so basically anyone can break in anywhere at a friend's house and this would work? This is ridiculous. Another comment, tenants are given broad protection against being kicked out. This is a good thing. In your case, you have a situation where someone isn't a tenant but actually looks like a tenant, but looks exactly like a tenant. That sucks, but it's an edge case, a one-off. It doesn't happen that often. So yeah, in the extremely rare circumstance that someone breaks into your home with no damage and scatters enough stuff around to look like a tenant, you get a little boned. It sucks, but the worst thing you can do is compound it by trying to kick her out without the eviction. Top comment, I'm going to go in a completely different direction and suggest that you get a protection order. This woman is dangerous and completely out of touch with reality. If I were you, I would be very scared. Go down to the court and fill out an order for temporary protection. The form will ask you if you two live in the same home. Say no. Put in her last known address. You should get her ordered to stay away from you, and she will not be able to enter the apartment as it will be breaking the order. If you need to call the police, you can call them and tell them you have an order of protection against this person, and they will make her leave. You do not want a residence exclusion order, which requires actual violence. You want a stay away order. Let's chat about this for a second, because what the
This would be, like they said, this is tenant rights exist to help tenants, and then in the rare occasion that something like this happens, the would you do? The fact that you did everything right and the law is still not on your side because of this bitch, like, what would you, like, I wouldn't know what to do. And I wouldn't know what to do when the cops were there either. I would, like, watching her show them all this shit in her apartment, and then just standing there and be like, I'd be like, think fast. Because I'm like, you can't think in that moment. You're just dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea what's happening. And this person is saying they live in your house and, like, thinking of the key or the mail, like, your brain's running 90 miles an hour. And it would be hard to think of all that in the moment.
It would be, because 5 minutes after hearing the title here, I'm like, yeah, ask her where her key is. Like, ask her for additional proof, because anybody can break in and scatter shit around, and I would try to challenge that while they're there. But
but if you're just brain warped in the moment, like,
yeah,
I get
shock.
that. Yeah, in shock. There you go. Brain warped.
Update 1. Next day. I texted one of her friends on Instagram who I know is close and explained what happened. She gave me her boyfriend's name on Facebook and told me to talk to him and see if he could come over and persuade her to leave. I have reached out to him and we got on the phone a few minutes ago. He said he can come over after work and see what he can do. Is there anything I should do before he comes here? Do I start recording video? Do I call the cops instead? Do I bring in a third witness? Yeah. I'm really afraid if this turns into a domestic violence of some sort, if any of them decides to do anything stupid. Keep in mind, I'm 19 and both of them are well over my age by a lot. Relevant comments here. Commenter, it's time to call in a friend, a close one. I would propose your mom, actually. Middle-aged women often have a magical violence desalting effect on unknown quantities. The point is, someone calm. Very calm. You don't need another voice in here, you need a witness. If all goes well, I would suggest you lock the door behind her, and this time, you lock your window. The problem with that, of course, is the cops have already decided that she lives there, so if she calls then claiming you locked her out, you're shit out of luck. In these circumstances, it might be worth the risk. Can you begin accumulating evidence she did not live there as of yesterday? Call friends and family who can verify you lived alone, or who can say where she lived. Instagrams of her taking pics of her place. Facebook post where she indicates where she lives or implied it's not with you, like, hey, can I come over? From a few days ago would be great. Once you're done with her, don't ever talk to her again. That's it. This is a new level of crazy and it's gonna burn everything it touches. Also, if she messaged you with the initial request about asking to move there, there's the evidence. There's the evidence that she didn't, but then was trying to, and now there's motive.
Yeah,
right?
I think we also have to remember that this is a 19-year-old.
A 19-year-old.
That's very young.
Being just straight up manipulated by the world. Good gravy.
Yeah.
OP's response here, I didn't tell my mom about any of this yet because she worries a lot about me and she already has a lot of issues going on, so I don't want to put any more pressure on her. I think I have to call her now, though. I know for sure she'll have my back on this. To the question, can you begin accumulating evidence? Call friends and family who can verify you lived alone, blah, blah, blah. When I looked her up on Instagram, I found lots of pictures in Arizona that she was dumb enough to have and then tagged the location. The pictures were taken within the past month. I took screenshots as well as archiving them like a web version. I also wrote down a transcript of how the conversation went down when she called me asking to stay at my place and I refused. Damn, it was a phone call, not messages. I've screenshotted the conversation with her friend as well. All right, we're getting ready to get into the last update here, but thoughts at this point, like, okay, this is what every person that she does this to has to go through. They have to be like, what do I do? What do I do?
The fact that she's made this her way of life. Like, this is how she moves from people to people. So she was right in the narcissistic bitch description in the very beginning. But I don't know.
All right, let's see where it goes. Final update, one day after the first update. First of all, I want to explain what happened, apologize, and thank all of you. Long story short, as soon as her boyfriend came in, she started crying hysterically. I told them that I'm video recording them through my phone, but they seemed uninterested in what I said. She started blaming him for all sorts of stuff. He kept apologizing a lot. After what seemed like an eternity, she packed her stuff, and they were both gone. Which means he's just as crazy as she is. Now I've written down on a piece of paper all of your different advice. I'll file a restraining order against her. I'll also go and file a police report and talk to the sheriff explaining everything that happened. I've documented all I could. I have screenshots of her Instagram account with the pictures tagged to Arizona, plus the video of her and her boyfriend arguing in my house and then packing and leaving together. My mom's main concern right now is getting the protective order ASAP and installing an alarm system in my house. She said she'll be staying with me until we can get a company to install an alarm system by Monday. Thank you guys for suggesting to call my mom. It made me feel safer while she was here. Apology. I know how annoying it is for you guys to keep giving me advice that I should file the restraining order and go to the police, only to find me not doing any of them, but inviting a stranger to my house. My mom also pointed out how badly this could have gone with her boyfriend coming here. Yeah, that was concerning. But mom was there for that, right? Maybe not. Comment, I've been thinking about this since I read it. If the cops showed up and this lunatic told them that she was a tenant, why would OP not say something like, fine, prove to them you live here. Where's your lease? Where are your keys? Where do you sleep? Show them your license with this address. Show them a piece of mail addressed here. OP's response, I wish you were with me and pointed those things out. It just took me off guard. I just stood there saying nothing. Anyway, I'm so lucky it didn't get worse. I'm just really relieved this whole thing is off my chest now. I'm truly thankful for each one of you. Oh, OP got lucky.
I love the TLDR. She's gone. That's awesome.
I didn't even see that. Yeah. TLDR, she gone. Gone,
Yeah,
girl.
she's out.
Block this bitch on everything now.
I would still get the order of protection.
Yes.
Because
Agreed.
who knows how long
Why
the
not?
boyfriend is going to last this time, and then if she's going to come back to your house.
She knows how to get right in, but you have this experience, and I would just, I don't know. Am I the astronaut for helping my daughter with her video creation despite my ex-wife's disapproval? My ex was always a super detached parent. Our divorce wasn't messy, thank God, but she didn't want any custody or visitation of our daughter, okay? My daughter is 15, nearing 16. I've pretty much raised her with my fiance, and only in her past year or so, my ex is trying to get involved again. I let her be involved and make decisions and visit, as it's probably healthier in the long run, but she's overcompensating for being an absent parent by trying to helicopter. One thing she hates is the fact that my daughter has a presence on TikTok or YouTube. I've made it clear to my daughter that as long as her content remains appropriate and she's not doing anything crazy, I'm not going to take that away from her or let my ex do so. Once upon a time, I worked in the film industry. Once upon a time, I worked in the music industry. And once upon a time, I worked in robotics. Well, my fiance, my daughter, and I have built a bunch of filming equipment for her. Remote control rails, knockoff Steadicam, built a studio in a spare room, various camera phone mounts, etc. I've helped film, taught editing skills, etc. I'm pretty much willing to help in any way that doesn't put my face on camera. Laughing, crying emoji. My ex hates the fact that I'm supporting my daughter in what she considers to be a horrible thing, and I'm an asshole for not caring what my ex thinks. I don't get why. My daughter's earning money and managing /saving /spending it on her own in an appropriate way from it. Her content, while it can be a bit grotesque as she likes special effects, isn't inappropriate or anything. I just don't see why I shouldn't encourage it. Am I the astronaut? So what's the problem mom has here? That's the real question that I have.
Yeah, I don't care what mom's problem is. She's been gone for this girl's entire life, and then she shows up and wants her to shut down the one thing that they have built together. That seems why she wants it to shut it down, because they built it together, because the dad is heavily into it because it's something they can bond over.
And she's overcompensating,
And
she's over.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't give a flying what she said about it. She lost all rights the moment she chose to walk away and not be present in her daughter's life. And because you've actually helped her build something that can earn her a career or whatever she needs, like,
Great skill set to have.
I'm like, and you want her to shut it down? No.
Just because you don't like it, because you're not comfortable with it.
Yeah. The mom is being an asshole.
So the mom's making decisions and issuing preferences based on what mom wants.
I don't know. And why would you want that? Why would you want your daughter to not excel at something? Clearly it's something they've built a room in their home around this. It's not just like a flailing hobby that will go away in a couple months. This is something that she actually enjoys. And
That Opie, you're nurturing a passion.
yeah.
Like, that's great. That is fantastic. And when your kid has a passion that you actually can do something to help with, that's fucking awesome, right?
Right.
I wish one of our teens would be like, hey, I'd really like to get into making video stuff. Can you help me? I'd be like, yeah, let's go. But like, this as a parent is like a jackpot. Like, I can actually help you learn a skill that you could use to have an independent, successful life.
Right.
This is a dream for a parent, and she definitely doesn't want you to have that. But she's always also issuing preferences based on what she wants, not what's best for the kid.
Right. And you allowed mom to step in and help make decisions. And I applaud you for trying to foster a relationship between bio mom and daughter, but you should not do so to your daughter's detriment. You shouldn't do that when it's trying to take something away from your daughter or make her feel bad about something that she actually enjoys. At that point, bio mom, who has not been present, is just overstepping and causing chaos where there doesn't need to be any.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because it was something that bio mom could bond with her on. I almost guarantee that she wouldn't have a problem with it.
I would agree.
So, I mean, it's just jealousy, right?
So the question was, am I the astronaut for helping my daughter with her video creation despite my ex-wife's disapproval? Yeah. Of course not.
NTA.
Your ex clearly hasn't surgically removed their head from their ass just yet. Am I the astronaut for taking my daughter out for a nice dinner and leaving everyone else to fend for themselves? My daughter, 16 female, and I, 43 female, love eating at authentic Asian restaurants. We had to pick my son, 12, up at a Korean barbecue about 40 minutes from our house. It was a party with another family. I suggested to my husband, 44 male of 25 years, that he and the two other kids can have whatever they wanted for dinner, and my daughter and I would go get Korean barbecue at this restaurant. He said, no, we should all go as a family. I reminded him that he and the other kids aren't big fans of Korean barbecue, and it would be cheaper to eat separately. He insisted on everyone going. When we get to the restaurant and he sees the menu, he complains that he doesn't know what to order and complains about the price. The other kids followed suit. I suggested they go eat in another restaurant in the plaza, and daughter and I will get the Korean food. It smelled so amazing, by the way. We waited 20 minutes for a table, and he continued to make comments about the price. He even told me, you better not order anything fancy. That was the last straw. I got up and went to the van. Everyone followed. I said I was taking everyone home and my daughter and I would go on our own to a local Korean barbecue. We did exactly that. Everyone else had McDonald's and played Roblox. I get home and he is fuming, saying I owe everyone an apology. I refused. I said I had zero remorse. It seemed like everyone was happy but him and went to bed. I slept perfectly fine. He's still mad. So am I the astronaut for taking my daughter out for a dinner and leaving everyone else to do their own thing? Like, he's still very, very, very mad.
Why is he being a salty asshole? I mean, I don't know. If there was something that I didn't like and like say Brady did, and you guys wanted to go do your own thing, I would have zero issues with that. Like, none whatsoever. I don't understand. Like, this just seems, and then to get there when she told you you're not going to like the place, and then to get there and just bitch about it. Like, what are you trying to do here, buddy?
You tried it his way. You know what I mean? And I
and
think
he just like made everyone miserable.
If you had done this first, if you had done this, like everybody got in the car and, you know, you were halfway there or whatever, even then, I don't think you'd be an asshole for it. But look, you tried. you said they all want to go. Okay, fine, let's go. But he turned it into a shit experience, so you left. You tried it his way. It didn't work. Now we try it my way. And he can't respect that. So I don't understand what he is angry about. He didn't want that food. The other kids didn't want that food. So what is it? What is he truly angry about? Control?
That he didn't get to control the situation.
He just didn't have a voice.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Like feeling like you have no input at all, I'm sure could be a little frustrating, but like you are a self-fulfilling prophecy because you went and bitched about everything. You proved her right. How are you mad that you proved her right? And who are you mad at? I don't think he's mad at her. Maybe he's mad at himself, or maybe he's got his head up his ass.
Maybe he's just being miserable. I don't know. But I love that she's like, I slept perfectly because I know I didn't do anything wrong.
I don't understand why his
being a bitch baby.
Why his big production happened after the fact. Like they wanted to go, they drove back and like dropped everybody off. But that's not when he put on the big show about being pissed off about not all going together. It was after he had to watch the kids for a little while himself.
Maybe.
While his wife went to a nice dinner somewhere. And then by the time she got back, he's like, I've been watching these kids for an hour and 15 minutes all by myself, and I'm mad.
They said that they've been married for 25 years. And I'm like, okay. That's a lot. Does he act like this all the time? Or is it just, when he doesn't get his way? Or
I would say it's frequent enough for OP to know exactly what to do. And just be like, I slept fine, he's still mad. So,
like, you need to calm down. You're being too loud.
Ex cheated on me, asked for updates on our dog. My friend told me I should post this here, so here I am, lol. So my 25 female ex-fiance, 27 male of 7 years recently dumped me for a younger woman, 21 female that he met on TikTok. To make a long story short, I had suspicions about his infidelity since January this year, but every time I raised concerns, I'd get hit with the good old, don't worry babe, she's just my best friend. Well, it turns out I was right. The very same day we called our relationship off due to unrelated issues, he's posting on social media about how much he loves his new girl. Same day. The same day. Last week, he met her in real life for the first time. Wait, he loves her? But I guess, yeah, people, okay. Last week, he met her for the first time in real life and moved her like 6 states away into his dad's house. Keep in mind, we've been broken up exactly a month today. Anyway, we had a dog together, Rosie. The house we were living in together is mine, so I decided to keep her here with me since I had more stability, and she's BFFs with my roommate's dog. He agreed that she'd be better off without me and only asked that I send him pictures of her and keep him updated on how she's doing. I said, sure, I'll email you some photos every few months. So every day since then, whenever I let Rosie out into the yard, I'll take pictures of her pooping to send to my ex. I've gotten all different angles, a couple videos, the whole 9 yards. In a couple months, he'll have an inbox full of our shitting dog to remind him of just what exactly I think about him. Okay, hold on. I'm reading this and I'm envisioning all the different angles you could get, just filming with your phone. And I want to just make sure you have this one in your pocket, OP. You can put your phone in a sandwich bag and get like the up from ground angle of like the bombs dropping right on the camera. Can you imagine? That would be amazing. Oh my God. And you could have so much fun with it. Okay, sorry.
Make sure you get the sound effects.
Sound effect, yeah. I would get one of those USB-C plug-in like shotgun mics so that you could get the sound that's happening where you're filming, right? You're not going to get your dog to wear a lav on its butt, so the shotgun mic's probably the way to go. Edits! Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up as much as it has. Thank you so much to everybody for asking how Rosie and I are doing. We're just fine. I think she's definitely sad that he's not around anymore. They were best buddies after all, but she's surrounded by her pup friends and gets belly rubs every day. As for my ex and the other woman, I can only assume she knew about our relationship. It's possible he lied to her and said we were roommates or something, but I don't really care. Even if she was actively poaching him, my ex would have shut it down if he really loved me. End of story. He's told me everything I needed to know with his actions, which are far more trustworthy than his words. All I know is I'm happier and feel more fulfilled now than I have in years. I'm reconnecting with old friends, spending time with loved ones, trying new things, and meeting new people. The best revenge I could ever have is being better off without him. Okay, but also, I'm assuming in your trying new things category, poo pictures are still happening on the daily, right? Because when you finally do email him a collection of photos, I hope you have enough to make a 3-hour slideshow.
I was going to say, I hope you fill up his inbox.
Yes.
With shit. Legitimately.
Send them all individually, but also create like a slideshow video with like sentimental music.
Send them at full size.
Yes. Full size. Full quality. The whole thing.
Oh my gosh, it's just too good.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.